Alright, boys and girls, and welcome to Gordon Guitar. So, I ran over a song here from Sam Fender, and this one is called Winter Song. So, a beautiful song that I've missed so far, but now let's bring it up to Gordon Guitar. So, we have 5 different chords to learn here, and we don't need any capo for this one. And you will notice here that we'll use a lot of this open E string here. That will be a common thing for all these chords. They have open E string in the chords there. So let's start first with the D sus2 like this. So it will be open D string, second G string, third B, and open E. All right. The next chord will be B minor 11. You can call sometimes chord from different names. It's still the same chord, depending on what you are emphasizing here. But the B minor 11 sounds like this. So you will have the second here on the A string, then the open D string, then open G, then third B, and open E. Okay, so that's the B minor 11. Then we will have the E minor 7, and that is actually exactly the same grip there, but you will include even the open E string in the bass. So the rest will be the same, the open E, second A, open D, open G, third B, and open E. So same grip there, but just include the open E in the strumming. Okay, then we have the F sharp minor 7, like this, and that will be the second on the E string, open A, open D, second G, third B, and open E. And the final chord will be the G6. So third E string, second A, open D, open G, third B, and open E. So there's your 5 different chords there. Okay, so before we go through the chord progression here, it will be pretty much the same through the entire song. We will go through first the different way of using the chords. So we will have one very simple strumming pattern, and then we will just show how to play downs and for how many times for each chord. So the easy strumming pattern that we will use here will be down, down, up. And we can illustrate that perhaps with the E minor 7. So we'll really bring up the full spectrum here of all strings here. So why we do that is because we're gonna work with bass and middle and even top strings when that is possible. So if we look at the E minor 7 here, the strumming will be down, down, up. So it's used, for instance, for the first verse here, the first part. And I just need to mention it goes in the same way. So you can look at it as 4 different verses here. So it will be played in the same way through the entire song here. So when you play, for instance, the first verse, you will use this strumming pattern. And it will be, like I said, down, down, up. So you play down on the bass string. And then you play the next down, try to do it more on the middle strings here, close to the top strings. And on the up, you really want to emphasize the open E string here. You can, of course, play even the B or, yeah, and even stretch to the G string there, but really hit the open E string, like this. So slowly, for instance, for this E minor 7 chord, be like this. Okay, so if we put that in a context, I'm gonna play a couple of rounds of this strumming so you can be able to understand how it's used. So like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Okay, so that is how it's used. So I'm gonna show you how to play first verse here with this strumming and for how many rounds. So let's start with the D chord here. I will sometimes I say just D, but I of course mean the D sus2, but I think you get that, just to make everything a bit more easier to instruct here. So the first chord, D here, D sus2, you will play that for 2 rounds. Then you switch to the B minor 11. So just move up your finger here and do that for 2 times. So the same technique here, you use the bass on the first down and then try to go down to the middle. And then on the up, you really want to hit this open E string. So 2 Ds, 2 B minor 11, and then you repeat that again, 2 Ds and 2 B minor 11, so 2 times. Yeah, and then we are in the middle of this verse, or actually you can consider that we are in the chorus right now, because there's a phrase there which comes back for every part, so to speak, verse or whatever we want to call it. And in the lyrics it's, do you spare a thought for summer? And yeah, of course it will be, do you spare a thought for, and other things for other verses there, homeless tramp or whatever they say here in the different verses here. But do you spare a thought, that will come back through to this song. So you can consider this as a chorus here. So when you play down D, B minor, D, B minor, so from here you're gonna play the G here for 2 times. Then E minor 7, 2 times. Then the D, 2 times. Then the B minor 11, 2 times. And then comes the G chord, the G6, 1 time. And then the F sharp minor 7, 1 time. And then comes the E minor 7, 2 times. And then it ends with D 2 time and B minor 11 2 time. Yeah, so that is actually one verse, or one verse and chorus, if you want to think that as a chorus, the part that starts with do you spare a thought. Okay, so let's just repeat this. I'm gonna go through and play everything here for you 1 time, so you can be able to follow, and I'm gonna tell you which chord I'm playing as well. So let's go. D, D, B minor, D, D, B minor 11, G, G, E minor 7, E minor 7, D, D, B minor, B minor, G, F sharp, E minor 7, E minor 7, D, D, B minor, and B minor. Yeah, so that is the first verse. Now, if you want to play this like they play in perhaps the 3rd verse, and it will go back and forth a little bit, they only play downs as well. So you're gonna use the same, exact the same chords, almost. I'm gonna show you and explain pretty soon what almost means. But basically the same chords there. You will play them double amount of times if you just play downs. So now when I instruct you to play 2 downs for D, for instance, with the strumming, that means 4 downs, just downs. So if I play the verse with just the downs, it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and B minor. 2, 3, 4, and G6. 2, 3, 4, and E minor. 2, 3, 4, and D. 2, 3, 4, and B minor. 2, 3, 4, and G. 2, and F sharp. 2, and E minor. 2, 3, 4, and D. 2, 3, 4, and B minor. 2, 3, 4. So now I demonstrated the first verse here with just the downs. So it's up to you to choose there. What I know, they play the strumming here for the first verse, and that is switch later in the song to just play the downs. And what I meant before with almost the same chord progression, it will alternate. This is built upon 4 different verses or chorus combos. So 4 times you play this this full chord progression here. And for the first verse will be played in the same way, exactly the same way as verse 3. But for verse 2 and 4 it will differ a bit, because where the chorus starts, and what we meant with the chorus was in the lyrics where it sings "Do you spare a thought?" For that part, in the first and the third verse or parts, we played 2 times for G when you play the strumming. So, right, but for the second and the fourth and final verse or part, you're gonna split this G that is played for 2 times. You're gonna split it for 1 time for G and 1 time for the F sharp. So that means, and then comes the E minor 7 right after in the same amount of time. So that is the only difference there between the different verses there. So 1 and 3 is played exactly in the same way, and verse 2 and 4 exactly in the same way. But the last verse there, verse 4, has an extended ending here. So we need to look at that one also here. Since the standard verses, they end with the G and the F sharp minor and the E minor. And then comes an extra D and B minor 11. Okay? But the ending here will be a bit different. And I think we will go through from the chorus here on the 4th and final part or verse. So the chorus there, like we mentioned, was in the lyrics, "Do you spare one thought?" And in this case for Jesus here, the 4th and final part. So remember, this part is with this G and the F sharp, in the same way as the second verse here. We just talked about that. So if we go through the chords from there, we don't need to go from the beginning because that's the same. So it starts with 1 G, and we can do that strumming here, and then 1 F sharp, and then 2 E minor 7, then 2 Ds, okay, and then 2 B minor 11, and then comes in the lyrics "When Winter," this 1 G, then 1 F sharp minor, and then 2 E minor 7, and then comes D 2 times. And normally here we will just end with 2 times B minor 11, and that will be the end of this part. But here it continues with again, it repeats again with this "When Winter." So after 2 times you play the D, you don't play B minor 11, you go straight back to the G again, 1 time, the F sharp 1 time, and the E minor 2 times. So that part repeats again. So after the almost the final D there, you play 2 times. Then 1 G, 1 F sharp minor, and 2 E minor. And then it repeats again when winter. So again, G 1 time, F sharp minor 1 time, and E minor 7, in this case 5 times. So on the second time it repeats when winter, you play the G 1 time, F sharp minor 1 time, and the E minor 7 5 times. So and then it ends with D 2 time, B minor 11 2 time, D 2 times, and B minor 11 2 times. D, D, B minor 11 2 times, and then in final D 1 down like this. Okay. So just to repeat here, I want to play the last part here from the chorus, you can say here, from the lyrics there, do you spare one thought for Jesus. So I'm going to play that part for you from this part till the end, so you get a full picture of how it sounds in the end. So let's go. G 1 time first, F sharp 1 time, E minor, E minor, D, D, B minor, B minor, G, F sharp, E minor, E minor, D, D, G, F sharp minor, E minor, E minor, G, F sharp minor, E minor, E minor, E minor, E minor, E minor, and D, D, B, B, D, D, B minor, B minor, and D. So yeah, that's the song here and how it ends. Sam Fender, Winter Song. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Beautiful song there, and good luck with this one. See you soon, and don't forget, play tuned.